Kneeling by R.S. Thomas. Moments of great calm, kneeling before an altar of wood in a stone church in summer, waiting for the God to speak. The air a staircase for silence, the sun's light ringing me, as though I acted a great role. And the audiences still, all that close throng of spirits waiting, as I, for the message. Prompt me, God, but not yet. When I speak, though it be you who speak through me, something is lost. The meaning is in the waiting. The meaning is in the waiting. R.S. Thomas, as you may know, was a formidable Welsh priest and poet who died, I guess, about 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago now. Thomas was, by all accounts, not an especially good priest. Indeed, he seems to have been rather fonder of wild birds than he was of his congregation. And he retreated to ever more remote parishes in northwest Wales until he reached the Llyn Peninsula and ran out of land, effectively. Hawk-like in demeanour, Thomas would often send journalists and other pilgrims to his cottage scurrying for cover, having little time for his growing celebrity as he grew old, more celebrated as a poet. His biographer describes him deliberately blocking the little country lane where he lived with his ancient mini in order to slow down the pace of life, which is just delightful, if no doubt infuriating. His irascible nature is part of what attracts me to Thomas, whose poems are like heavy, flinty ground, which when turned over often reveal dazzling riches. He is somebody who writes with this capacity to bring jewels out of the dirt, and the transfixing beauty of life is revealed only after the ordeal of waiting and often of working. This patience and restraint is the key to anything really creative, I think, and is also the meaning of this season of Advent. A month set aside to do nothing but wait quietly for what isn't yet there, somehow shines brilliantly in a culture that's enthralled to having everything now. The huge environmental and social and financial cost of our inability to wait is something we're only now beginning to realise. I was listening while driving today to Mark Carney, the Governor of the Bank of England, his first Wreath lecture, which I thought excellent, actually. It was on the radio today. And he was talking about the human inability to be patient and to wait for things. And Advent is put in before Christmas deliberately as a season to discover the meaning of waiting. Waiting for what we want is hard. It can feel pointless. And when it comes to our faith, times of waiting can often feel like the times when God is absent, as if he's only found at the times when we receive what we want. How much of our time is spent thinking, if only this would happen, then I would know that God was there. It's natural entirely, because we interpret the blessings of life rightly as evidence of God, signs of God's grace. But Advent reminds us that waiting patiently, expectantly, hopefully, can also be evidence of God. Not waiting aimlessly, alone or without purpose, but consciously waiting on God in whom we trust. And very often we find that it is in this kind of waiting that we discover afresh the wonder and the promise of Christmas when it comes. The promise of Emmanuel, God with us, not God without us or us without God, but God with us in the receiving and in the waiting. God bless you as you go to ground.